Yo guys, welcome back to another video. I just want to say before this video starts, thank you for giving me 100 subscribers. I know that goal isn't much, but I still really appreciate that you guys have made me reach 100 subscribers, and I'm trying to get this channel to be more serious, and it's working. So this video is my first video after reaching 100 subscribers, and I just really want to say thank you for that. And I never would have done it without you guys. So let's get into the actual video. The topic of this video is movies that I watched this month of May. The first movie that I want to be talking about is Karate Kid Legends. Now, this movie, it wasn't it. I really didn't like it that much. It was slow. The runtime of the movie wasn't that good. Like, it was really short. It was like an hour and 25 minutes or so, and the acting in it was a bit like, wasn't really that great. And this is gonna go at the bottom of my list because it was trash. The other Karate Kid movies were so much better than this one. This one was really the worst one to come out. If I had to rank the Karate Kid movies itself, I'd probably rank the first movie, The Karate Kid 1984, as number 1. The third one as The Karate Kid 3, like 1989, I think, number 2. The second one, third. Cobra Kai, if we're talking about Cobra Kai, that will probably go straight after the original Karate Kid. The fourth one on the list, I haven't seen the next Karate Kid, the one with the female character, the female being the main character. I haven't seen that. So the fourth one probably go to the Jaden Smith Karate Kid, the 2010 remake. But like, about Karate Kid Legends again, it wasn't good. And Ralph Macchio, I think that is how you say his name, he was only in the movie for like the last like 30-35 minutes. He came into the movie like on like the 50-minute mark, and his acting in it wasn't bad, but he didn't really tribute anything to the movie. Like, yeah, he was just there just to get paid. Like, that's just what it felt like, just to get a paycheck. It was mostly Jackie Chan and the other kid in the movie that did more. Like, Jackie Chan was in it for most of the movie, and like even the love interest in the movie it didn't really feel earned either. Like they don't straight away like fall in love or anything. Like, it takes time obviously for that to start happening, but like, it just feels like every other Karate Kid movie where main character moves somewhere, main character meets love interest, soon to be love interest, main character gets bullied, main character meets the person that teaches him how to fight. By the end of the movie, main character kisses the love interest and fights the bully. Bully respects main character by the end of it, and then bam, end of movie. That's how every Karate Kid movie has gone. Like, every single one, from number 1, number 2, number 3, don't see the next Karate Kid. And then same as the 2010 Karate Kid movie, all of them have gone the same route. They haven't done anything different, and this one isn't any exception. It just feels the exact same, but just worse, way worse. This has to be on the bottom of my list. Sorry, not sorry, but it just wasn't that great. Anyways, on to the next movie. The next thing we are going to be reviewing on this video is the Minecraft movie. Now, this movie was cringe. It was tiring to watch. I know it's aimed towards children, but even the fans that play Minecraft, they can appreciate it. Like, there's still stuff for them in the movie, but it just wasn't that great either. So this one has to go, it will still go above Karate Kid Legends. This one will go second on my list of like best movies of May. Like, yeah, like Karate Kid Legends being last, and then Minecraft movie being just above that. Like, me and my friend from college watched this movie, and we were just laughing at it most of the time. Like, you know that viral meme that went on TikTok, the chicken jockey thing.
Chicken jockey!
That was the only thing we looked forward to in that movie, and we didn't even get that. They didn't even have that in the movie. Like, they had it in the movie, but no one was showing any reaction to it. The cinema that we went to was dead. They didn't really show any type of reaction to it. Like, even the people next to us, some couple that was sitting next to us, they didn't show anything, and they were like the same age as us. No one really cared. And like, yeah, it had like main actors in it, like Jason Momoa and Jack Black. I don't know who the rest of the cast are, I've never seen them before, but they did an okay job. I think Jack Black was a bit silly though, because I feel like the movie should have been animated, and with Jack Black's character, Minecraft Steve, he was just a bit goofy and silly as well. Like, it didn't really do an accurate portrayal of Minecraft Steve. They just give him a blue shirt and then just call him Steve. Like, it's a bit goofy, isn't it? So, like, the whole movie just should have been animated. They shouldn't have done the whole characters go into animated world and then that just be the plot of like, oh, going into a animated world and then being stuck in there and having to find a way to escape.
Jack Black was in Jumanji and they did the same thing for that too.
And then, you know what's worse than the actual movie itself? Was the villain. The villain was very silly and weird. Like the British pig woman, the woman that has like the British accent, that plays the main pig character in the Neverworld, the Neverland thing or whatever it's called. Yeah, that was a bit dumb as well. The pig characters were not scary at all, and I think that the character that they should have chose to be the villain should have been Herobrine. I used to be scared of Herobrine when I was younger. I remember being in a world, digging underground, and then coming across Herobrine when I was like 10 or something. And I was actually scared. Yeah. Didn't see him since because I don't play Minecraft anymore. Another part I have to talk about in this is the woman, the teacher I think it's the head teacher in the school, when she's like, I don't know, she's a bit weird. Like, they make jokes of her being like divorced or something, and then like basically there's a part where the villager from the Minecraft world goes through like the portal to the real world, and then he ends up getting hit by her car, and she picks him up and is like, oh, are you okay? And then it's a bit goofy, and then she's like, oh, can I take you out on a date? And then later on in the movie, I kid you not, they actually go on a date. It's very weird.
Yes, it was.
I have no words. This movie was just like, it wasn't it. Could have been so much better. Just make it animated. Stop making it real world, like real people going into an animated world. Because I bet if they make a Roblox movie, they're probably gonna do that. Do you know who they're gonna cast for it? Jack Black. Because for some reason, every time they make a movie every time they make a video game movie that turns into a movie, they always hire Jack Black. Because the same thing happened for the Super Mario movie that came out 2 years ago. They hired Jack Black to be the voice of Bowser. Now, the Super Mario movie was a lot better than the Minecraft movie. And this movie was literally strictly for children, because I couldn't find anything for this movie. Like, there was nothing there. There was like some occasional like funny jokes, but it was kid jokes, and it wasn't anything that, there was like no adult jokes except for the woman that was going on a date with the villager. But like, it was goofy. It's just another goofy movie. Nah, it's still better than Karate Kid, but not by much. I'd probably rate this movie like a 4 out of 10. anyways, next movie. I'm done with Minecraft movie now. Now we're going to be getting onto some better movies of this month. Now, one of the first movies I'll be talking about that was one of the better movies of this month was Thunderbolts. This movie was the best Marvel movie of this month, and probably one of the best of this year. That's just my opinion, because I like this movie. I didn't watch it in the cinema, I watched it at home on my computer, and I ended up enjoying it. Found it entertaining, but there were some parts that were a bit weaker than other parts. Like, I'm gonna get into spoilers. So there's a part where the main characters get stuck inside the death trap thing that they get set in by the main like evil lady in the movie, and they get stuck in there for like, they're in there for like the first maybe 30 or 40 minutes of the movie. Like, they didn't really need to be in there for that long. They didn't need to be stuck in there. Like, there was a purpose for them being stuck in there, because another spoiler is they end up finding out that the main villain of the movie was in their thing the whole time, because whilst they're stuck in there, the whole plot of the movie is that they're all tasked to go somewhere. They all end up going somewhere, and then they're told to all kill each other. But what ends up happening is that there's someone else in the room with them when they're all fighting, and then you don't end up realising a bit later on in the movie is there's a part where the villain gets captured by the evil people, the army people, and he like reveals that he's got superpowers, and he just flies up into the air, and then he goes up into the air, and then he drops back down again, because I don't think he knows how to use his powers properly. But yeah, they meet him at the start not knowing that he's gonna be the main villain of the movie, except for the lady person. Yeah, she's bad as well, but she doesn't have powers like him. And I think that the stunts in this movie were good, and the fighting in this movie was good as well. I like the fighting scene. I think the best scene in the movie was the scene where they're all fighting each other in like the first 20 minutes, I think. But what was a bit silly was the Taskmaster, that person, she ended up getting killed in like the first like 15 minutes of the movie. Her character was wasted, because her role in Black Widow wasn't really that good either, and I don't think they should have brought her back at all for this movie. They should have just left her out of it. There was no point bringing her in this just to be killed early in the movie. So that was a bit of a waste of her character too. Another thing I want to talk about is this movie's heavy on like depression and like some other sensitive topics as well, like suicide and like other darker stuff, because the movie literally starts, the opening shot of the movie is Yelena, the main character that you follow. She's like standing on the roof of a building, and then she's about to jump off. But she jumps off. We think as the audience that she's gonna attempt to do a bad thing, but it turns out she was just doing it to reach her mission, because she jumps off the roof and then she parachutes. But like, the other characters in this movie, they have other stuff going on with them too. Like John Walker, I think is his name. Like the Captain America sort of guy, because he has a shield and he looks like Captain America. His character was quite heavy as well, because they go into the backstory of like he was not really like looking after his kid properly, and his wife or his girlfriend didn't like that he wasn't looking after his kid, because they show a flashback where he's inside his house and he has his baby inside the crib, and his wife is like, oh, look after the baby, and he just doesn't pay any attention to the baby at all. He just like scrolling his phone or like reading a book or whatever he's doing. and it affects him in the movie because his girlfriend ended up leaving him, or his wife ended up leaving him because of that. He's like becoming depressed, but some of the other characters have other depressive things going on as well. Like, we end up finding out the main character, he's got a darker side to him. He's a normal superhero, but then his darker side will take over, and his whole body will just go completely dark. Not racist, like not black, like, yeah, black. He'll literally go pitch black when his darker side takes over. But he's at his most powerful when his darker side takes over, because another spoiler is later in the movie when he reveals his actual darker powers, and he's like flying around New York and just obliterating every single person. He's like making everyone, his power is that he can like do that. He'll make someone just completely disappear, and then what will actually happen is that that person will just keep replaying dark thoughts in their heads and stuff of what was going on in their past. Because by the end of the movie, Yelena, because she's had like a dark past and stuff, and like her sister Black Widow being killed in Avengers Endgame, well, she sacrificed herself to get the Soul Stone, but she has some dark stuff going on too. And when the New York is being like attacked by the main villain, she does not want to fight back. She just accepts her fate when she just closes her eyes like this and just walks into the abyss, the dark abyss where she gets taken, and she doesn't really care anymore. And she walks into the abyss, and we see like some of her dark thoughts, what happened to her as a child, because she was trained as a child to turn into like an assassin, because that's how you see Black Widow and Yelena meet in the Black Widow movie. And like, she does end up getting rescued by the other team members of the Thunderbolts. They end up they walk into the dark abyss as well, and the first person that walks into the dark abyss to rescue her is the Red Thunder, whatever his name's called again, David Harbour's character from Stranger Things. What was his name again? I'll have to search this up after this review's done, but I can't remember his name. He walks in there first because he's obviously her dad, so he's gonna be the first one that comes to save her because he's a part of the Thunderbolts team. Now, his character was funny, like he was like the comic relief character. He tells funny jokes in the movie, and some of his jokes are actually funny, and he's like the brute force of the team. He'll literally pick someone up and throw them, and he's just really strong. And then the other members, they can all fight as well, but they were a bit weaker than his character and Yelena's character. Like Ghost, I think Ghost was the third best member of the team, because her power is that she can like walk through like objects and stuff. Like, she's very good. But like the downside to it is that if she hears like a screeching noise, like when she's fighting someone, they know her weakness, so they'll play like a screeching noise in her ear, and that will stop her from using her power. And that she has a limited time to use her power, so she can use it, but she has to wait a short time again in order to use that power again. But her power was very good too. And then who else can I talk about in this movie? Oh yeah, the ending of the movie. The ending of the movie was good, because obviously another spoiler is it reveals by the end of the movie that they're gonna become the new Avengers for when the Avengers Doomsday, I think is what it's gonna be called. When that movie comes out, they're gonna be in it as the new Avengers, as well as I think they're adding the X-Men and like Deadpool. And I don't know if Deadpool's gonna be in Avengers Doomsday. Hopefully they have him in there. And then the Spider-Man movie as well. That's coming out next year. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that when that comes out. But back to Thunderbolts again. It reveals that they're the new Avengers. They end up defeating the main character by the end of it. They bring him back to his lighter side. They get rid of his darker side. That is a bit goofy, a bit, where the way that they make him turn good again is when he's like hitting his basically you have the light side of him and the darker side of him inside the dark abyss. We see that when his darker side is taken over New York, his normal side is trapped inside the dark abyss, and Yelena finds that out. She sees the light side of him punching the darker side of him because the darker side of him is making him annoyed and like teasing him about bad things that happen in his life. Like, I think we found out he was abused and some other bad stuff. But the whole group, after Yelena comes, is they all hug him, and that somehow makes his darker side go away. And then they end up making New York turn all back to normal again. Everyone that was captured by the Abyss end up coming back. They end up getting recruited as the new Avengers. And then let's talk about the end credits. In the end credits, we find out that the Fantastic Four, when that movie is coming out, the Fantastic Four members are coming down into space in the rocket. And that was actually a good ending. So, overall, I'd like to rank Thunderbolts 7 out of 10. This movie was good, and it was an entertaining watch. So on to the next movie. The movie I'd like to talk about next is one of my favourite movies that came out this month. This one was a very enjoyable watch for different reasons. The comedy, the gore, and the deaths. The movie I'm talking about is, of course, Final Destination Bloodlines. This movie was just great. Like, I watched this movie from home the first time, and the second time with my mum and my stepdad in the cinema. And like, the best part of the movie, I would have to say though, was the beginning, because it was so memorable. Everything from like when her and her boyfriend first stepped into the glass tower thing, up until when the whole spoilers, when the character wakes up and finds out that it was all a dream. That whole sequence from there to there was the best part of the movie, because it had most of the highlight deaths were in that part. Well, not most of them. There were some other highlight kills I'd like to talk about too. Everything from the beginning scene up until when she realizes it's a dream, that was so good. Like, the best part of the movie for me and my family, because everyone else in the cinema, when I watched it the second time, we were all just laughing. Like, it was funny. They were really good in the movie at balancing comedy and gore, because there were some more comical deaths that happened in the movie too, but it wasn't that comical. Like, it wasn't like over the top. Like, I have to get into another spoiler. Basically, the kid that ends up causing the accident in the start of the movie, in the dream sequence, he flicks a coin, and in the coin, he's at the top of a tower. He flicks a coin, then the coin gets stuck inside the vent, which causes the glass to crack, where there's a dance floor and they're playing that song, "You Make Me Want to Shout, Come On." Yeah. They're playing that on the dance floor, and then the main character, her boyfriend, is proposing to her as the kid's throwing the coin down, and then the dance floor's cracking. The glass is cracking whilst they're jumping up and down on the dance floor, having a good time. And the main character, she's like warning everyone that the glass is about to crack. She says yes to her boyfriend earlier. They go down back to the dance floor and start dancing. She looks down, notices that the glass is cracking. She tells everyone on the stage that the glass is about to break. She doesn't tell them on time because they jump up and down one more time, and then the glass just completely breaks. The whole tone changes. Death just starts happening just out of nowhere. People start falling to their deaths from the dance floor, like breaking their necks whilst they're like hitting the floor, breaking their necks, like just exploding in like loads of blood and gore. And then there's like people like serving up food. There's a chef. He's got like a pot. The pot like burns on fire, which makes a woman that starts like running past while she's burning on fire. It's very goofy, but very fun. Very fun. So entertaining, honestly. And then there's another part where people try and escape through an elevator, but the elevator is full, and there's another guy, like an old man, he's trying to get in the elevator, and his death is so gory. He's like stuck inside the elevator, and then the elevator goes down, and as the elevator is going down whilst he's halfway in it, like half of his body like splits in half, and you just see his blood just go everywhere. That was a very gory kill too, and my mum was like, ugh, like very disgusting. But the highlight kill that I want to talk about was, there's a part later in the movie where the main character and her cousins and her family, they go to the hospital because one of the characters he's got death coming after him next. So they go to the hospital. They go to the hospital for one reason, but end up doing another thing. They go to the hospital at first because they're trying to find someone that can help them get rid of death that's following them. And then he tells them, the guy that they come across, that tells them death's coming, is played by Tony Todd. He passed away in real life, but they obviously filmed this movie before his death. So it's kind of like a mini memory thing for him, talking, saying like he doesn't have a lot of time left, because in the movie he says that he's not well, which happened in real life too. It's not really a good thing, but yeah. So he tells the main characters that the way to get rid of death is if you either kill someone, or you make someone die, or you die, but then your heart will stop, and then you like make your heart start beating again. Like they'll resuffocate you, bring you back to life, whatever it's called. So then the two brothers that are the cousins of the main character in the family, they split off and go somewhere in the hospital. It's established early in the movie that one of the cousins has a peanut allergy. So they have an idea that they basically break into like a vending machine. They pick a peanut snack to eat. They go into a room. They put him in a wheelchair. His older brother says, "Eat this," and it will basically make him die. So then he starts eating the peanut snack thing. But whilst he's eating the peanut snack, there's like a machine in the background that turns on, and then it starts building up the energy in the machine. And the energy of the machine, it attracts metal into it. So if metal is in the same room as the machine, it will suck the metal inside the machine. So things get pretty dangerous. So the cousin, he eats the peanut. He says, "Oh, this is very good," at first, but then his allergy starts kicking in, and he starts choking on the peanut snack. His cousin's like, "Oh, it's working. You're gonna die, and the nurses will bring you back to life." So he's trying to reach out for the EpiPen, because he's trying to obviously not die, even though the plan is that he's meant to die. A bit silly, but yeah. whilst this is going on, the machine's building up the energy still, and basically the machine builds up so much energy that his other brother, the older brother, he's got piercings like all over his. He's got like nose piercing, ear piercings, nipple piercings, and piercing down there as well. So there's a comical part where the machine starts like breaking off the metal, the earrings inside his ears and stuff, and it like sucks it out of his ears and straight into the machine. So you see like the blood coming out of his ears, like the nipples, like the nipple is just straight out of his nipples, and down there as well, which is really painful. The wheelchair behind him, his brother's on the floor choking. The metal from behind, the wheelchair that's behind him pushes him into the machine and completely sucks him inside the machine with his arms and everything going back like this, and his neck, and he gets sucked inside the machine. It's so gory. I wish I could show the clip, but I'm not allowed to. But he gets sucked inside that. Whilst that's happening, his brother's still choking, and he reaches out for the EpiPen when his brother's dead inside the machine. He stabs himself with it, which makes him able to breathe again, but his whole face is like swollen and stuff. So a nurse walks into the room, but earlier when they were in the vending machine, one of the springs in the machine got stuck whilst they, you know, like the springs that rotate the thing that makes the snack or whatever come out. The spring like ring, the spring shoots out from the vending machine as the nurse opens the door whilst he's sitting in the machine. Because the machine is attracted to metal, guess what happens? The spring from the vending machine shoots out of the glass of the vending machine straight into the other room and goes straight into his head, and then like half his head comes off, and you see all blood and gore, brains start pouring out of his head. Now that was like another highlight death of the movie. And one more death I'd like to talk about is the one, this death was deserved the most, because this character was unbearable. Was the kid that started the deaths in the first place inside the tower. When he runs out of the building, because he ends up escaping the building when it collapses. He gets to the bottom of the building, he's like running off laughing and stuff, and then a piano that was in the room where the dance floor was going on smashes, falling out of the building and drops straight onto his head. It's so dumb, but that was like a comedy part. Everyone in the cinema felt no remorse for the kid, like it was just deserved, honestly. But anyways, I like to rate this movie 8.5 out of 10, just because another thing I like to talk about is the ending part. It was a bit like rushed. I know that they weren't really going to live, spoilers, by the end of it, because every Final Destination movie ends with every character getting killed, except for like the second one where the girl lives by the end, but she still ends up getting killed in the next movie because death was going to come after her anyways. So the main character and her younger brother, they find out that earlier in the movie they got drowned. The girl was drowning and her brother came to rescue her. She finds out that her drowning didn't actually kill her. She just became unconscious, but her heart was still beating. But her brother just sprang her out of the water and then made her conscious again. But she thought that her heart stopped and then started again. So her character by the end of it says, what? She says, we cheated death because my heart stopped beating, which isn't true. Because the character tells her that her heart never stopped beating, because she just became unconscious, but her heart was still beating. So a train that basically by the end of it, there's a part where an old lady she has a coin in her hand. She's paying for like something at a lemonade stand, and her coin flicks out of her purse. He's rummaging through her purse. A coin comes out of her purse. It rolls down these steps. The coin jumps down. It gets stuck on like a train track, and then it holds in between the train rail lines, and the train that comes past, it gets derailed because the train was meant to go this way but ended up going straight instead. So the train's going this way now, it's derailing, it's falling off to the side, and then somehow, just like over the top, just so over the top, the characters are like, oh, the train's falling apart. They start running away from the train. You see the train behind them that is coming straight towards them. They're running. They think that they escaped the train moving, and then for some reason, just out of nowhere, a log truck comes over the train. The two logs drop, killing both of the main characters, just completely crushing them, killing them, and then that's just the end of the movie. They could have died in any other way. That was a bit over the top. Still good, it was still comedy, but that kind of holds the movie back a little bit more. But now we're going to get into the best movie on this list, the movie that I'm looking forward to talking about the most. Now, time to get into the best movie of this month, which was Sinners. Sinners was perfect from start to finish, the best movie of this month. I enjoyed it from start to finish. The acting was great. The music was godly. The music was the best. There's one highlight in the movie, one part of the movie where the music is crazy. They mix, like, spoilers, of course, for every other movie I've reviewed so far. There's a part in the middle of the movie where one of the characters is playing on like a piano, and not on a piano, he's singing. Well, yeah, he does play on a piano. He's singing, and there's like a beat in the background, and there's like different eras of music that start building into the same song at once. So they have different eras of music from like the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the early 2000s and stuff, all coming into one. So you see like from like the 80s or 90s, a person on the floor like spinning around like on their head with like their legs moving up in the air, like break dancing. You have like another girl like twerking to represent like, I think like the 2000s era. Then you have someone else like playing a guitar, I think, or like some kind of Elvis sort of thing, like a 60s or whenever that kind of time period was going on. But that was only one great part of the movie. Michael B. Jordan is of course the best part of the movie. His twins characters, the two twins in the movie, they're great. One twin is like more bad than the other twin. Like they're both bad because they both did something bad before this movie takes place, but they're still enjoyable to watch. They both have their own love interests in the movie, like Haley Steinfeld, I think is her name, the girl that the voice of the Gwen Stacy from the Spider-Verse movies. She's great in this movie too. She looks good in the movie too, also, I'd like to say. But yeah, back on track. And then the black woman in the movie, that's with the other twin, because at the start of the movie we realise that they used to date each other, but Michael B. Jordan comes to her house, sees her, she ends up like liking him again because I think something happened between them two that made them split apart, but she forgives him. There's a romantic scene that happens and they get back together again, but that happens. And then you have another character which is great, was the guy, the British actor, I forgot what his name's called, but he was also good in the movie too. He kicks all of it off. He's the main villain of the movie. I'll put a picture of what he looks like if I can remember. I'll search up the Sinners cast so I can get a picture of him. But he's a British actor. He's in that other movie as well, called Eden Lake, the other British movie. That movie was also great too. That's an old movie. I think came out in like 2008. But yeah, he's in that movie too, plays a bad character. But in Sinners, he's perfect too. Because, obviously I'll put the plot of the movie below me here, so you know the plot of the movie. Because a spoiler is that the main villains of the movie are vampires. And they come after the characters that are inside the club building thing that they're inside for most, like maybe like the last like 50-40 minutes of the movie, hour of the movie. But this movie is a slow burner too, so it's not for everyone, but it does get good towards the end. I mean, it's good throughout it, but for people that don't enjoy slow burners, they'll find the last hour of the movie great. But I do like slow burner movies too. I like when it doesn't just kick off straight away. I like having that build up of it getting more intense, introducing the villains, not telling you everything at once, finding out later in the movie that they're vampires. It doesn't just give you everything at the start of the movie. You have to give it time for it to get good. But it was really good. I watched this movie in the cinema. Also, there were a few jump scares in the movie that actually made me jump a bit. Like, there's a part where basically in the movie, the vampires, they're not able to come into the club building. They have to be invited into the building. They can't just walk in freely. They have to have an invitation, because that's the law of like vampires. They're not allowed to come into a place uninvited. They have to be invited first. He tries his best to get inside the building, and they keep saying no. And I think he's like, come on man, like they've got like a southern accent, a Southern American accent in this movie, because the movie takes place in like the 1930s, I think, from what I remember. He's trying to get inside the building, and he like has his hand out like, oh, let me in, please let me in. So they finally decide to let him in, and then there's like a jump scare. I didn't expect it. He just like grabs onto their arm and just chomps straight down on their arm, and it caught me off guard because I didn't actually expect him to end up getting inside and biting the person's arm. Another thing I like to talk about is I like how the vampire first starts building up like his group to come to the club building, because there's a scene maybe like in the first 30-40 minutes of the movie where you find that that one of the characters is a vampire. The main villain is a vampire. He comes to this couple's house and he tries to get invited into the house. They don't know he's a vampire. He runs into the house. He knocks on their door saying, please help me, I'm being followed by someone. And he literally is being followed by someone, because a gang of people on horses come behind him and they want him, but we don't know why they want him. So eventually the couple that are inside their home, they come out with a shotgun. They're like, who the hell are you? And they aim the shotgun towards him and the gang, and they're like, just leave us alone. The gang leaves them alone, but they let the guy that's at their doorstep come inside their house, and they let him inside their house, but they don't know that they just invited a vampire in. So what does he do? He kills the man in the couple first, and then he kills the woman after. In like a jump scare. I think he's like inside the room. He's inside the room where he just killed the man, and he's like sitting on the chair, and he's like, his eyes are like glowing. His eyes are like glowing red. He's got blood pouring out of his mouth. He's all dribbling. He's all weird and stuff. And he kills both of the couple. And he comes back later in the movie to try and get invited into the club building so he can kill everyone in there. but his purpose, another spoiler, is that his purpose of doing this is that he is like a spirit or something that wants one of the characters in the movie's ability to like sing and conjure up the spirits. I'll put the plot of the movie still, but basically he wants the main character ability to sing and dance, because in his past life he was able to sing and dance, but he wants to do that again. So his purpose to come in there is to get the kid and get his power to sing and dance. So the whole movie is just about like the passion for music, which is good. But then another bad thing is that not a lot of people will like musical parts to a movie, because this movie has musical parts in it. Like there's a part, it's a bit silly, but I still enjoyed it, where because the vampires can't get inside the club building, they're standing outside the club building like in a field, and they're all like dancing around holding hands, and you have the main guy in the middle like chanting and like la la la, like dancing and singing and stuff, and it was amazing. It was so funny. But this movie was a treat. It's directed by the same guy that made Black Panther and Creed, the Creed movies too, and it was just a very enjoyable watch. The movie was about 2 hours long, and the first hour was building up the relationship between the characters and building up how the main character can sing. And the first scene in the movie takes place at the last scene of the movie, where a spoiler is that the kid at the end of the movie, when everyone is dead apart from him and Michael B. Jordan, another spoiler, which is that Michael B. Jordan doesn't live by the end of the movie, except for that his twin is still alive, but as a vampire with Haley Steinfeld, by the scene that takes place in the mid-credits scene. But yeah, by the end of the movie, the kid, he runs to where his father is inside the church. His father's a priest inside the church, I think. He says to his dad, help me, I don't want to be sinful anymore. So then his dad takes him in, sees that everyone in the church, when he first runs to the church, sees he's got blood all over him and stuff. They were like, oh, what happened to you? But his dad still talks to him. His dad forgives him for being sinful, because he killed all the vampires and stuff. He kills the other guy, the main villain, the main vampire guy. I think he gets burned alive, because everyone knows that vampires, they're afraid of sunlight. They can't be in sunlight because they'll die. So the main vampire guy, he forgets that it's about to be sunlight, so they're inside the lake. He has the other character by the throat. He's like, oh, give me your power to sing music. But he doesn't give it to him. He runs out of time and he ends up dying because the sunlight comes and gets him, and then that makes all the other vampires disappear. We find out by the mid-credit scene that the kid, by the end of the movie, he grows up to become a musician, a famous musician. It cuts to a scene in the 1990s where he's inside a bar, and Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld, they come in. You still know that they're vampires, but they're not there to kill him. They spare his life actually, and they just talk to him and they let him go, and the movie just ends on a good note. And yeah, that's the end of all of my movie reviews today. I hope you enjoyed it, but the video is still not over yet, because I'm going over upcoming movies that are coming out and what I think about them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Part 2 will be coming out tomorrow, where I'll be talking about my opinion on upcoming movies. But as always, like, subscribe, comment on what movies you like the most this month, and post notifications, of course, and I'll see you in the next one.